What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight, ready to chop up a real interesting topic. I got my man, Jay Babo. What's good, bro?
Not much, man. Looking forward to another great episode once again tonight. But want to quickly remind you can catch us on Grind City TV Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're able to get Grind City TV on your Roku TV app, also on Google Play. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok at Hold a Husband Podcast, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, comment, and share. All right, T.
I also have my other co-host on the line. I got my man, SD. What's good, bro?
Man, you know me, just chilling, man. I got my Dare to Keep Kids Off Drugs hat on for all my 80s babies out there. So y'all know what it is. And I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal.
I want to remind everybody, y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. We got a real interesting topic tonight. Tonight's episode is titled The Truth About Love, where we're going to talk about some of the myths and misconceptions people have about love. So I'm anxious to get into that. When we got a guest that I think will be perfect for that conversation. But y'all know how I go down around here. We like to discuss stuff that we see on our timelines, and overwhelmingly, I'm starting to notice it's like we're piggybacking off other podcasts. So I really like that whole concept of continuing the conversation.
No doubt.
So we got two clips this week that I wanted to talk about. This first clip is talking about the difference between having sex and being intimate and just masturbating or fucking. So let's take a listen.
I want to reassure you and so many men that a vibrator can never replace human touch.
You don't gotta tell us that. It's the women that's telling the men that. Like, I don't need you. I can get whatever toy, or I can replace you with that.
Why do you think a woman would say, I got a toy, I can pass on some
because they selfish. They don't care about pleasing their man at the same time.
Because they see a man as only one thing. That's only good for one thing, I should say.
You're right.
You see, it's a lot easier to than it is to be intimate. I will not act like I couldn't get penis, but sometimes this is a whole hell of a lot easier and comes with a whole hell of a lot less complication and way less intimacy. So maybe for women who are like, I don't really need you, you start asking questions about the level to which they want to engage intimately.
Now, I think that's an interesting concept, but I would replace the word intimate with the emotions of it, the catching feelings. Women that feel like I can just please myself. I don't need a man for sex or companionship. I think those are women that are still traumatized or dealing with the negativity from a past situation that have some healing to do, because I think that mindset in itself is toxic. And like they said in the video, shout out to the Daily Wrap Up group. You don't really hear men saying that. We don't go around, I don't need a woman. I don't need a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the rhetoric you really hear from men.
Nah.
So we know that it's not actually the truth. We know women want men and they're doing everything or doing a lot to get selected by men. So I thought it was interesting to see her spin on it. What y'all think?
I think that I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's toxic when you know what I'm saying, women say it, because I think a lot of women say that they don't need a man. They got the toys, because a lot of women scientifically don't orgasm from sex. I want to say it's like vaginal sex, where it's like 60 or 70% don't orgasm from sex. So
what? It's that high?
It's high, bro.
Yep.
From that.
Oh well, yeah, you're right. Because I did do a poll, and most women come from oral sex. You're right.
Exactly. Yep. Clitoral stimulation, most women do. So a lot of them aren't being pleased sexually anyway during the sex process. And then a lot of men just don't care to please them sexually during the process.
True.
A lot of men out here that they running into are really just hoe-faced men trying to get their nut. So when they trying to get their nut, they really don't care about the woman's nut, and they not really.
That never made sense to me.
Exactly.
That gets you more sex, fellas.
True.
Focusing on pleasing the women you been with, everything about it works in your favor. The actual experience works in your favor. She's gonna fuck you more and fuck you better. The head she give you better, everything's gonna be better. Your reputation is going to reflect it. So you're gonna get other pussy as a result of it. So being selfish.
Yep.
It happens.
But being a selfish dude that's just get my nut and that's it. Like, man, I guess I shouldn't care because they just make guys like myself more valuable and desired. But that's just such a stupid thing to me. What about you, Jay?
Not even that. A lot of women do after sex, they'll just get themselves, or whether they use their hands or use a vibrator. Women say that all the time. But just to Steve's point, like you said, a lot of them aren't being stimulated from sex or getting coming from, or they come from sex. Like, but I agree with the original premise. With there's nothing like human touch. Some women just don't get. Some women rely more on those vibrators. I think sometimes with those vibrators, it reduces the sensitivity because it's so numb to the vibrator.
Yeah, a person can never duplicate what a vibrator can bring. But I saw something on the Hard or Soft podcast. Shout out to my man Tahoe. And they were talking about using vibrators in a bedroom while you're with the woman. Like a lot of guys are firmly against it, and feel some type of way about it. I wanted to ask y'all, is that something that y'all would be interested in? Me and my wife have brought toys.
Absolutely. Fellas, listen. A vibrator, a little small vibrator, is your friend in the bedroom, man.
That Rose is a monster, man.
Yeah, like I ain't talking about like if she break out a 15-inch double destroyer, that's different. You know what I'm saying?
My man said double destroyer.
I get it. But I'm talking about like a little vibrator, man, while you doing what you do, it's all about her pleasure. And this is what I don't understand with a lot of men that are selfish out here. Like when I was in my whole phase and all that, I wanted the women to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
I wanted them to come back. I wanted them to talk to their girls about me. So I wanted to
5-star
do whatever I
review.
could, so that I can get that type of response. So, if it was something like one of them little egg vibrators while I'm stroking, while I'm sucking her toes, I wanted to do that so she would have this experience, because a lot of men don't do it. They intimidated by the vibrator. They ain't, moving right. They ain't got the equipment or whatever the case, and they don't like sucking toes. Like, who don't like sucking toes? But I'm just saying, it's gotta be a process. You know what I'm saying? To warming a woman up with that intimacy that woman alluded to in the video, and a lot of men just don't care to do it.
Exactly. No, I second what you just said. I'm with it, bringing a vibrator into the bedroom. I'm not intimidated because I feel like it, in my opinion, it enhances the sexual experience as opposed to the other way around. I don't think you can go wrong with it.
Yeah, and it can run out of batteries, but if you use it as a foreplay tool or an enhancer, like during sex, it actually feels good for you too. If you have a vibrator or something on her clit while she's riding you or while you're having sex,
you feel it.
It feels good. Yeah, you can feel it too, and it creates a whole new vibe. So I don't think it should be an either or thing. I think women that are willing to bring a toy in the bedroom with the man will have the best experience and can create intimacy because you're experiencing something new with one another.
Yeah, but if you ever, as a young man, guys out here, watch a woman have an orgasm. It's like sniffing crack or shooting up some meth. It is addicting. To watch a woman have an orgasm. I'm serious. And you look at her dead in her eyes while you doing it. The movement, the clenching, the clutching, and you like, man, it's addicting. And you want to do it as much as possible to have them eyes roll. Man, listen. I don't know how y'all just getting your nut and leaving. I don't get it, but
man, because if you have that philosophy, there are times where I didn't even nut. And I'm cool with it. It's easy to make me nut. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that's why the man should be focused on the woman, because it's easy to make us nut.
I mean, that's always been my philosophy, but like we know, a lot of guys don't think like that.
They don't.
All right, let's keep it rolling, man. This next video.
Men fall in love with what they see, where women fall in love with what they hear.
That's why men lie and women wear makeup.
Yeah. Women keep wanting to date up and up and up and up. And then on top of that, there's a rising, growing number of single, childless women. I want to say it's over 50% of women over 30 are single and childless. And it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because women don't want to settle. They'd rather be alone than settle for a guy that they view as average. But they shouldn't. The only reason they view him as average is because they've been sleeping with guys out of their league. Because those guys would sleep with her, but they'd never wife her.
Now this is very reflective of a lot of conversations we have, where women seem to confuse the sexual attention and sexual desire that they can generate from celebrities, rich men, etc., to those men actually wanting to be with her. Now, is there a occasional chance that it happens? Yes, you could get pregnant, you could become a long-term fixture in his life, etc. But those are very few and far between. In a lot of these cases, it's just a sexual or a fun experience from the guy's perspective. But what it does is it does make women a lot more selective. It does cause them to have even more unrealistic expectations because they're comparing a dude with a 9-to-5 to an NFL player or NBA player or something like that. And so it does cause women to feel like they're settling or they're not getting what they deserve when they run into the average men.
Yeah. I think that she hit on the point about the men that, you know what I'm saying, have sex with these here women. And it ain't necessarily got to be a ball player. It could just be a nice looking dude that's making $200,000, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of average or below average women can still get dick from him. He'll still have sex with them, but he won't be with them in a relationship. So then when they get out here and want a relationship, they are looking for an upper tier man like him. But the upper tier men like him don't want a average or below average looking woman. You know what I'm saying? An upper tier earner.
Or he's already taken.
Yeah, like he don't want a woman like that, but he will have sex with a woman like that. So that dynamic warps the woman's mind because she's like, well, he's having sex with me. This must be where I'm at in the pecking order. But your sex pecking order a lot of times is not your relationship pecking order. And that's where women mix the two up and be confused and why they can't get the man they want to be like, but I'm this and I'm that. Yeah, but it don't compute the same in the relationship world as it does in the sexual world for men.
True. What about you, Jay?
So the first thing they called me, she said more women are childless, but that's just the after effect of the men that's childless. I think it's a higher percentage of men that's childless than there are of women. And I think when the women sleep with these, upper tier guys, upper echelon guys, I think they have an inflated sense of self or where their value at is in the dating market. Because like you said, he'll sleep with a 5 or a 6 and think nothing of it. For her, she's thinking, wow. I must
well, see, that's the thing though. But most people are average. Most people are in the 5, 6, 7 range anyway.
Absolutely.
True.
So if you're dating somebody that's within 1 to 2 points of where you are, overall, I guess it's always subjective. My kind of formula is I'll take the person's physical appearance, I'll take their personality and credentials, I'll add them together and divide by 2. Right, so that kind of gives me a score of how I would rate a woman, and determine whether or not I would feel, like you said, what category she would go in. Whether she's somebody I would just casually date, whether she's somebody I would take seriously and make my girl, etc., or she's just somebody that's gonna occasionally go to Pound Town.
Occasional Pound Town is okay.
Yeah, because I'm cool either way. If I liked you enough to shoot my shot, I don't care which category you fall into. It's gonna be one of them, unless you cut me out. But guys don't really have it that warped sense of pecking order because you're constantly reminded it from a guy perspective.
Yeah. So Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you constantly shooting for chicks that are 3 and 4 numbers above your range, you're gonna be laughed at and be getting clowned in public. So you're gonna learn very quickly that that's not the move for you.
Unless like your money is good, then you can do stuff like that if your money good. But the reason so many of these women are single also, and she said it in the video, is because they feel like they're settling, right? And this is the thing that I understood with talking to so many women and all that. They never think that the guy is settling on them. No matter how they look, no matter how they act, no matter how they think, they never think that the men are settling on them. And so I like to tell them, like, well, the average dress size in the United States is a 14 to 16, right? 75% of women are obese or overweight. So if you were to pick a lot of these men, we know that men are visual and like women that are in shape. That's why there are no BBW strip clubs over 250 where you got to go in and they all the women over 250, right? Because men love women that are in shape. So for men, if these men could choose the type of woman that they won't pick a woman that's 300 pounds. 9 times out of 10. Right? It's just like a woman.
Most guys won't. Right. There's always an exception to the rule.
Always an exception. But just like a woman won't choose a dude that's twisting meat over at Taco Bell, right? Most women won't choose that kind of guy. So for most men, that's settling to them, especially for your upper tier earning men. That's settling, and they never look at it from that point of view of the man to say, hey, these men are settling on me. Maybe I ought to be more realistic.
You know what is, SD? Because most of them, if not all of them, think they see themselves as the prize as opposed to the man the other way around. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but
that whole conversation about the prize really kind of annoys me because a prize is something you win playing a game or something. Like it's not representative of what dating actually is. Like, there's luck involved in meeting somebody that you're compatible with, that's available, that's interested in you, all those type of things. Fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. But it's more a result of your personality and your behaviors, which can be changed or altered if you're intelligent and you have the self-awareness to pay attention to what is working to improve your dating relationships and what's working against you. You know, and I think that's something that men are just kind of forced and thrust in a position that we have to be self-aware, otherwise you can't have success.
Yeah, so I just did a post the other day where I was talking about finances and body. For women, it was body and how they look, and for men, it's finances and how men aren't up to par with finances. And this is the thing about the comparison of the two, because both of them are important to the other sex. They top on the list. For men, it's your shape and how you look and stuff like that. For women, it's your financial stability, right? So women, what we see out here is women have no problem letting men know that they aren't up to par financially. Right? And that's where I'm not going to settle for this. They have no problem telling a man that. Like, bro, you don't make enough. You work at Walmart. You work at McDonald's. But then when you compare that to what men want a lot of women that's top on their list, which is the body and the shape and the look, it's met with insults and shame when it shouldn't be. When you should be trying to figure out, okay, I need to be in the gym because it increases my numbers. Just like those men.
But they don't do. You know why they don't do that? They have the shortcut. They can get a BBL. They can get lipo. They can get the look through a shortcut. I get it. So the women that are gonna take the fitness route. You're right. Logically, that's the smart thing to do. That's the easiest way to improve the quality of men that you date.
Absolutely. Just like the easiest way to prove their quality for a man is to get his financial life in order. The one thing that they want, one of the main things that they want from a man. It's only smart to try to be better at it as a man or a woman. So it's not with hate that we say these things. It's because we want y'all to get into relationships. We giving you the advice to help with that.
But anytime you talk about men's preferences or the women men don't want, it's met with you're bashing women. Like it's met with all kind of negativity. Then we all see in our comments on social media, etc. But it's the reality.
What's funny is if we get on here and we say, well, the men need to do X, Y, Z, the men need to get their money right and make sure that they can provide financial stability. It's like, yeah, tell them.
You know it.
High five emojis and everything. So when we say, hey, the women need to get in the gym, lose weight, it's met with resistance.
How big is your mama? How big is your mama?
Like, come on. Yeah, man, it can get very disrespectful. But that's the part that always made me laugh. Like the women that would come for me on social media and be the most disrespectful is always a chick I wouldn't get a time of day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you criticizing me, but I'm checking all the boxes that you look for in a man. You know what I mean? Like so.
I had to tell this one chick, man, and she was coming at me, man, insulting me, and I just had to say, "Hey, sweetheart, have you seen you? Have you seen you? Like, you need to slow down, like,
bro.
Before you start insulting people on these social media apps, make your page private. Because I will make a meme out of you real quick. I'm just saying, man. Don't get in your feelings over opinions or somebody's advice or information that people give on social media. It's not that serious. If you're not tagged in it, they're not talking about you. Just take it and apply it if you can apply it. If not, let it roll off, man. So that's that.
All right, man. Looking like we are up against the clock. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be getting into tonight's topic. We're talking about the truth about love. Y'all are tuned in to the Ho to Husband podcast, and we'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. Tonight we are talking about the truth about love, dispelling some of the misconceptions and the myths that people have about love, and we're going to be talking about how the quest for love really impacts the dating scenario we see today. We have a guest on that I've been anxious to chop it up with. We got my man Troy Spry, aka Exclusive 5. What's going on, bro?
What's happening, man? What's happening? Thanks for having
me.
What
up?
Oh, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. Before we get into the combo, bro, can you let us know a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into relationship space, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm Troy Spry. I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach, speaker, and author of the book, Teach Me How to Love While What You Don't Know Will Hurt You. I've been in a relationship coaching game, sheesh, man, for almost 10 years now. Almost 10 years. So I've been in it before it was popular, right? And, I enjoy it. What I tell people, what I do is I help people get out of their own way in life and in love. And that's kind of the mission. So that's why I'm here.
That's what's up, man. We like to try to kind of have these conversations with guys that are in the space where you giving advice, you dealing with, social media, and the modern woman and some of the conversations that come up. Based off what you observe or what you've seen, what do you think is the biggest thing that's preventing people from finding love?
Whew, man, I think it's a few things, right? Number one, people don't know what they want. I mean, I think they say they want one thing, but then they behave a different way, right? So getting clear on what you want is extremely important. Number two is we don't seek to understand each other. So people out there, they want they want a target market, but they don't even study the market in which they're seeking, right? So they're taking all their time blaming someone else for their problems, blaming someone else for why they're single, why they can't find somebody, instead of saying, let me see what the person I'm trying to attract really wants and desires. You know, so I think that's a big reason that people are staying single, because we just fighting each other. We trying to be each other instead of doing what naturally happens, which is how we attract each other in terms of men and women. So I would say those are the two biggest things. And the third thing is this: it's FOMO, man. It's FOMO. So what's happening is that fear of missing out. So we have so many options now that people what they do is they just out here, they swiping, man.
Deja vu.
they swiping, bro. And so it's hard to be like, I'm gonna settle down, because there's so much access, man.
Yeah. You know what? One thing that comes to mind, man, when you say they don't know what they want, they say one thing, do another thing. We see, and this is just from what I observe, and I'm sure a lot of other men observe it too. Now with the Russell Wilson thing, and so many women saying, "Hey, I want to."
Bruh,
that's right. Russell, right? And then when you look into their, you look into their dating history or the guys who they lust after, none of them resemble Russell Wilson at all.
Not at all.
None of them. They kids' dad, they ex-husbands, the guys who they trying to get after now, none of them resemble Russell. And all of them got a Russell in their DMs or somebody that's in the friend zone that they just don't want to give a chance because he's not that guy, right? So I think that's got a lot to do with it, man. Like, the women, a lot of the women are confused with it because I really don't hear a lot of guys complaining about relationships, like not being able to get them. You know what I'm saying? Or get married. I don't really see that from men. So, that's just one of the things I looked at.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That's a fact. I mean, people out here, I think they say stuff that sounds good on the internet. Right.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about that's feeding them nonsense too.
That's
true. Panderers, the clueless people, because anybody can make a meme, especially if you look good and you naked. If you're a chick with a big booty, you can get on a podcast or get on camera and start talking about relationships like you've had a successful relationship before. You know what I mean? Like, so anybody can kind of at least pretend to be an expert. That's one thing, like women would always kind of question my credentials. Like, how are you in a position to be telling women what works for dating and whatnot? And I'm like, well, I've been married 17 years. I've been a hoe before that. From a male perspective, you have to have a certain level of expertise and skill to be successful. And men from all around the world co-sign what I say. So despite having all the credentials you need, they'll still attempt to discredit you if you're not telling them what they want to hear.
That's what happens to me because I'm not married. They be like, so you married? I'm like, no, I've never been married. But guess what I am now? I'm your target audience. I'm the guy that you're trying to get. I'm the guy that's doing well financially. I think I'm decent looking. I got my mental in order. And all these other things, my emotional state is in order. And I would like to get married one day. Why wouldn't you listen to a guy in my position just because I'm not married? Like, I'm not a mechanic, but I bet you I can change your oil. I bet you I can change your tires on your car and you would let me do it. You don't have to be married in order to give people sensible advice or information about certain things. So I think that, you know what I'm saying, people kind of take it a little too far with trying to discredit you because you're not married or assuming you're not married, Terry, whatever the case, or ask.
Well, even then, it's because if somebody will bring that up, they'll say, well, you just jealous because you're not as famous as Steve Harvey or you're not as rich as this person. Like, it's always something. Yeah, it's always something. Because, well, at least for me, one thing that I think's kind of become my brand is I'll actually post the pandering bullshit and I'll explain why it's bullshit or why it don't really represent reality. And sometimes that the people's followers tag them and they come back, back and forth or whatever. So I've had some kind of social media beefs over that make me a target. But it's all,
man. That's why you block so many things.
Shade Room got me blocked.
Man,
I can't see if they blocked me. I'm like, man, you worse than me. Back on my old page, they blocked me. But
you know what it is?
Go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is that most people they're looking for confirmation bias. I mean, that's true. Confirmation bias. They go and seek what they want to believe to be true, and really the magic is in stuff that challenges you. You see what I mean?
True.
That's one thing I've tried to do over time is like I seek information that challenges my belief, right? Because that way I can only get better, in what I do. But a lot of people, they don't want that because challenging causes that cognitive dissonance, right? Where it's like I might not be as right as I think I am about some stuff. So that's what people do, man. It's not a good thing either.
And I think that's
go ahead.
The one thing that you had mentioned earlier with your two things, the other one was studying, learning what it is that you want. And what we see out here from a lot of women is that a lot of them have no clue what the types of men that they want. And then when we try to tell them, hey, this type of guy that's an upper tier earner, he wants a woman that's more feminine, more submissive, more in shape, more cooperative, it is met with, why should I be submissive to a man? I'm not submissive. I'm more masculine because of this. Hey, they like big men too, big women too. Like it's always something that's met there as a but, instead of trying to become what those men they say they want. Because as a man, when we want women, I try, and a lot of smart men try to do whatever they can to get the type of women that they want. And be better. I'm not sagging my pants because I want a grown woman that don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I got my financial life in order because I want a grown woman that's an upper tier type of woman. You know what I'm saying? So smart people do things to get what they want and learn what it is that they want and move towards it. People that don't care don't do anything.
But see, the mentality that you have, right? One of the things that Drew, made us click when we met through social media and whatnot, is we have a whole lot in common lifestyle wise. From the way that we live, you know what I'm saying? Like just everything, cars we drive, type of women, etc. So we've always kind of hit it off just from the jump. But you're single and I'm married. So that's kind of gives us the yin and yang to be able to provide such a broad perspective. But the things that you do and that you prepared for are things that you built your entire life that make you husband material. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't just 2018 get your life together. You know what I mean? Like you had to start doing that a long time ago. And so when you combine that with the fact that in the dating world, men are the one that have to pursue women, pay attention, learn, that's you cussed him out because of that. Like we have to learn and adjust. We are forced to study women and they don't have to study men at all.
They don't.
That's the truth. That's the truth, man. That's why we got to get rid of this whole like happy wife, happy life trope, right?
Oh, I mean, exactly.
That's killing women, man. That's killing women all over the world because men are starting to get the peak game, right?
Yeah.
Men are like,
they're waking up to that stuff.
Absolutely.
So all right, how do you? Oh, go ahead, T.
No, go. I was gonna say. I just wanted to ask. How do you think? I know one of the biggest issues or the things that causes the biggest problem in society is the hopeless romantic mentality. What are your thoughts on how that impacts dating and relationships?
Oh man, the fairy tale is killing the reality, man. I mean, so what's ultimately happening is people get, especially now with social media, it's changed. Like think about it. Think about if you were a man right now and you got to propose to a woman. Can you imagine how much pressure it is to put on a proposal show right now? Like, you used to just be cool to just go, get on your one knee and call it a day. Now you need a whole production just to be validated.
Damn.
You got to have a whole show with a production crew and everything, right?
Man,
I think it's really hurt like average people, because average people are what make up most of the world, right? So if that's the case, then this hopeless romantic thing, like that's why I don't even like the fairy tale stories, like from the books we read to the movies we see growing up, because it always turns out like this princess and this king or whatever it is, and they come together.
Knight in shining armor.
Real people ain't like that. So I don't like it, man.
Yeah, but I think those stories and all those things affects women more, because dudes don't sit around thinking about when they gonna get married and how they gonna propose and all this. Like, men don't really do it. It be women get on this social media thing and see it happen to these other women and be like, see, that's why I won't settle. And you like,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but guys play into it too. Like guys that do the most. Like you see you see the dudes that do it to pander to women to secretly get pussy. And you know, and try to make it like I'm super dude, I'm super gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like it create like I remember seeing a video like to just piggyback off what you said, where a dude came out with 5 different wedding rings and let his girl choose from 5 different rings. Man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bruh, like y'all really killing the game. So
I'm gonna give you 5 different courthouses to go to. We going to Cook County, Lake County, Williams County, DuPage County, or LaSalle.
And
get out of here.
Exactly. And most men would be okay with going to the courthouse as opposed to having a big extravagant wedding. Absolutely. That's more so with the women.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
They want the wedding not to be a wife. Not to be more.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Terry. Is like that's why a lot of marriages don't last, because the marriage is created off the fairy tale, right? And then the day-to-day grind of a marriage. I mean, I've been married now 10 years, been together 15, 16, and I'm telling you, the day-to-day grind of it is what makes up the majority of it. And so when you think it's about the fairy tale, you're easy to run away from it, right? The minute it doesn't feel like a fairy tale anymore, you're like, oh, I gotta go find me another knight in shining armor. You know, out there in these streets, and it don't work that way.
And that's why I compare this want and need. When I hear women say, I don't need a man, right? For me, it's a red flag. Because I like to say, when you want something, it's easy for you to get rid of it because you just want it. And when you don't want it no more, you just discard it. But when you need something, you do what you have to do in order to keep it. And it's not a need because you can't take care of yourself or handle your own business. It's a thought process. Like, you know what? I need a man in my life because I need that leadership that I'm asking for from a man. I need that structure. I need that guidance.
That stability.
And that direction, that stability, that protection, and that provision. I need that from a man because I'm a woman. Like, it's just a feeling that you have to, and it brings another level of appreciation for your man and or your woman, whatever the case, to where you all fight for that relationship when there's a need there. When it's just a want, it's easy to get rid of. So that's why when a woman says she don't need a man, I know I ain't got no place there, and she could just keep it moving away from me. So real quick though, I wanted to ask you a question because you said you've been married 10 years, right? So what made you decide to get into the relationship space being married 10 years?
Yeah, man. So a big part of it is I've seen what unhealthy marriage looks like growing up, right? And then I'm a part of a healthy one, right? And I believe a reason that a lot of the unhealthy marriages exist.
Can you define healthy marriage? Can you define healthy marriage real quick?
To me, healthy marriage is it's peaceful, it's reciprocal, it you help each other grow, you have shared values, you have shared visions. It's not hard, right? It's not hard all the time. Like it takes effort, but it's not always hard. It's not full of turmoil and chaos and those kind of things, but it's ever evolving. To me, those are healthy marriages, right? The unhealthy ones are full of chaos. They're full of drama. It's full of emotional roller coasters all the time. You know, you know what unhealthy looks like when you see it. You can see it. You can feel it, right? It's full of conflict all the time. No conflict resolution skills. None of that stuff, right? No consideration of each other. That stuff. So when I seen chaotic, and I also seen healthy because I'm a part of a healthy one. And I said I want to be able to influence people in a way by not just being an example of it, but also by changing the narrative publicly. Because I believe this is what happens. Happily married people don't talk a lot, right? So they're not the example that's out there in the space, right? In social media or whatever it might be. What it is the negative people and the negative stories. Those are the narratives that get repeated over and over. So it inspired me to say, you know what? So my whole mission is better people, better mates, better relationships, better communities. I believe they all feed into each other, right? And so if I can be a part of the healthy side, not by being like a panderer or not by being like a unrealistic, but by showing the realities of how life really works in terms of marriage and relationships, that's what inspires me.
Well, I wanted to piggyback off that because another thing I feel like that creates a problem is people don't really use healthy relationships. Like the one healthy it wasn't a real relationship, but the Cosbys. That for my generation, that was the healthy relationship. That was kind of the beacon on how I wanted to say, oh, you living in a player crib, you know what I'm saying? Like with nice amenities, you're not broke. All right, y'all both got careers, y'all both making, you know what I'm saying? Like lawyer, doctor. Even if you ain't got to be that extreme, but two successful people raising kids, that was something that I could envision. But another thing that that you said that really kind of resonated was you seeing the toxic negative relationship, and now that you're in a healthy relationship. So I did have a question I wanted to ask you: is that something that you were taught, or is it something that you knew what you didn't want?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm still learning, if I'm being frank. But I will say, I know it felt bad, right? As a kid, you know when something isn't right. You get the feeling you don't want to. Your parents arguing all the time. They're going back and forth. You're on the emotional roller coaster all the time. It's unsafe. It doesn't feel safe, right? And I knew I didn't want that. I didn't necessarily know how to get that, but I started to study it. That's how I got into the space. I became a student of relationships. And I studied psychology in school, right? So I was always interested in human behavior. That was
my favorite course.
Oh man, it's an amazing thing to understand how people behave and how they think. And so then I just became a student in relationships, right? I started studying the people who are, in masters in relationships. Started listening to podcasts, started listening to YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And then started studying the psychology of relationships and say, you know what? I have something to share. Right? Am I perfect at this thing? No, but what my audience has seen is the growth over years too. Right? They've seen me from like a little boy being married essentially to now a real grown man in the space, right? So to me, that was the journey I took them on.
Yeah, and that gives you credibility in the space. You know what I'm saying? When people watch you, when people watch Terry, and you all are honest and transparent about certain things. Like I've seen Terry talk about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's married, and it's like, oh man, you can't help but respect it. So when I talk to you, you know what I'm saying? It's coming from a place of experience. You know what I'm saying? In the marriage world and in the regular relationship world, whatever the case. So that gives you all a lot of credibility. But out here, especially in our world of being Black and on social media and all the things that we follow, we don't see as many healthy marriages on social media or in media period on TV shows.
It's more gay couples on TV now.
Yeah, and gay couples and horrible toxic relationships in your basketball lives, in your love and hip hop, in your Black, whatever the case it is. All of it is toxic. Whereas when we came up, you had the Cosby, you had Family Matters, you had the Damon Wayans and and some of them other shows. You had those shows where it showed a healthy family dynamic and people working together. Even with Martin and Gina when they got married. I mean, we had those shows. Now we don't have those shows to influence people. Now it's a bunch of nonsense. Now it's a bunch of trash out there, and in turn, it's showing itself, it's mirroring itself in the dating world. When you get to the men, when you get to the women, and the behavior from each side, it's like, I don't need you either. Well, what do you have? You have a lower number of marriages in our race in particular that's going on right now because of it, because we are one of the most influenced people here on the earth. So
but we ain't stopped having kids, right?
We ain't did that.
No, we ain't stopped having sex. We ain't stopped having kids. No. So it's like
there's a chance.
Right?
I mean, it is kind of sad when you take a look at it, and that your motivation for wanting to be in the space is the same as anybody that becomes an actual relationship coach. You obviously want to see other people have healthy relationships, but the way I was sparked into it was through seeing clueless women in my comments. I would make different memes about sex and relationships, etc., and I would see the discussions in the comments like, man, that's not how men think. That's not how men operate.
I don't know what's going on.
And so I figured, well, if I the people that know me in real life that follow me, I can't pretend to be something I'm not. So that's where my credibility comes from. Like, it's chicks I used to smash that follow me, people I done had orgies with that follow me. Like, so all my stuff is authentic, because if I was a fraud, I would have got exposed already. And so being married to the type of woman that I think guys of y'all's caliber would date. Being the type of man that can attract those type of women without lying or deceiving them, that's where a man's credibility comes. And in our society, I think men are judged by the lifestyle that they provide their kids and their family. So as long as you can do that, you're going to be straight. As like he was saying earlier, the men of that caliber are always going to be good.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
That's 100. That's 100 right there, man. I think it's interesting, man. Like sometimes, like the married space, people rather talk about negative news than positive news, right? So as D was talking about, like, you know, what gets the most likes and the most views and the most clicks is anything negative, right? So if you being dysfunctional, like, click. If I say something positive about a relationship, I might get
swipe.
You know,
swipe
people
past.
keep going. Let it be some drama. Oh man, it's just the likes and the attention come, which tells me something about how we think in society too, man.
Yeah, you know what, and we see it right with the smallest thing. It'll be, I've seen women get on social media and what she's saying making perfect sense. Hey, I'm submissive to this man because that's how I am. I do this, I do that, and all down the comments. Girl, please get out of here.
Pick me.
Don't nobody like that.
Pick me.
Yep.
Or you'll see it on the flip side where, you know, somebody will do something for their woman, and then you got a bunch of dudes saying simp. Now some of it do be simp.
Some of it is. So I gotta say.
Some of it will be a simp, and some of the women will be completely out of line with what they're saying. But some of that stuff makes complete sense, and some of it is okay for somebody to do for their wife. Or whatever.
Exactly.
And
but the stuff that's simping
that comes in.
I was gonna say the stuff that's simping though is like I remember one where they went on a first date and the dude sat down an envelope full of 50s and 100s. Like shit like that, where it's like, bruh, come on, bro. You know damn well you're not doing that for just renting no random chick.
But the women praise it. That's a real man right there.
That's a real man.
Like I could give you $300. You gonna let me see your titty?
Yeah.
That's the only reason he doing it. He ain't doing it because he think you this wonderful. Well, no, he trying to see your nipples, sweetheart. Yeah. Like that's not hard to figure out. So.
All right, Troy, I got a question, man. So with the way dating and relationships are going now, what do you think is the missing ingredient to try to improve or increase the marriage rate, especially among Black people?
Yeah, we gotta shut up and listen, man. We gotta shut up and listen to each other. Right now, it's like this great divide in the space. Like it's every day you see it on the internet. Women arguing with men arguing with women. And if we just shut up and listen to each other, we really want the same things. At the end of the day, people want companionship. They want to feel love. They want to matter to somebody. That's what they want. But if we don't listen, we don't take the time to listen to each other, we never get there. So if we want more marriages, we want more healthy relationships, we have to listen to each other, right? Seek to understand each other before we seek to villainize each other. And that's all we do right now, man. It's so like, I get frustrated some days. Some days I'm like, man, let me take my account down. I'm so over this. I'm so tired of seeing it. Well, but then I realize the mission is bigger, right? So I keep going. But that's what I would say, man. Just listen to one another, man. That's what I think. What y'all think?
But you're right. You're right, because I did a survey where I asked the men and I asked the women, hey, how many of y'all still want to be married? Or if you met the type of woman that you really like physically and this and that, would you get married if you met the type of man? 94% of men said they would get married. 95% of women said they would get married. But the things that we want the most from each other, or not the most, but one of the top things we were talking about before you came on, one of them is men like women that are, you know, more fit and pretty and in shape. You know what I'm saying? And women like men that are financially stable because of provision, understandably. But on each end, there is a lack of that on each end. And a lot of people aren't trying to become what the other one wants in each other. It's like, hey, this is me, take me as I am. There's always somebody for somebody. And that's just not true when it comes to us. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the women's side, it's a little tougher because of they outnumber us by so many out here. And then
they gotta be more, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, so it's a little tougher for them, but on each end, nobody, like, it's like this fight. Like, take me as I am. I'm not gonna try to improve. Just take me, and that's what's causing a big divide amongst us right now.
Have y'all seen the soft life thing?
The what?
Have y'all seen this whole thing about the soft life that women are wanting to live now?
What is that?
Like, where they just pampered and taken care of?
Yeah, where they're trying to be more feminine now than what they were in the past. It's like this group of women who are like, I'm tired of fighting.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing videos.
Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
And I see why. It's a battle, right? Go ahead.
Hey, because most of them desire a man, especially to lead their life, because most women aren't built to lead themselves. They were made to be helpers. It's not a knock on when we all got special qualities in us, and one of them from a woman is to be the helper to a man. That's why she was created. So a lot of women
and
get
a mother to the
frustrated.
kids.
Yeah, a lot of women get frustrated doing everything: the grass, the furnace, the bathroom is leaking, the car, the oil got to be changed, the brakes got to be changed. She got to go to work. She got 10 things to do at work. Where a man comes in and say, "Hey, let me get that. I got that furnace. I know somebody who could do it. I could do the cars. I could do this. I got that. I got this. You just focus on that and the kids." That man brings that structure and leadership, and women long for that, man. So,
man,
it's just one of the things. Go ahead, Terry.
I was going to say that's a result of women not really seeing the benefit of being with a quality man. Exactly. Because like you said, if you're not a threat to a woman, you're not disrespecting her, you just providing a comfortable, nice, semi-luxury lifestyle. Yeah, it's great if you're in that person that's in the stable. You got thousands coming in the count every certain number of days. You got everything's flowing smoothly because you have a companion that is holding his own and has the maturity to be able to deal with what comes with being the head of a household.
That's why we were made. We were made to have that role and be those leaders, because we're less emotional when certain things get to happening, and we bring that structure and guidance and leadership. That's why you get in the videos that you get now. I'm tired of doing this on my own, because they're not built for that. They're not built for it.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
They're not built for it, man. So that's why you're getting that now. But, it's so tough now that you're 40. It's tough. Like that you done spent 40 years mentally in this space of I don't need you. And now it's starting to kick you in your butt. And it's tough because men are saying, well, wait a minute now. Maybe you just pretending to be something in order to get the ring. You gonna pretend to be more feminine in order to get the ring. Much like a lot of men pretend to be a certain way to get sex. A lot of women pretend to be a certain way to get a ring. So you got a lot of men, up in their upper 30s and 40s looking at them like, well, wait a minute now. You've been tough for 35 years. Now,
he said tough. You've been tough for 35 years.
We just got to get back to our original selves, man, original purpose as men and women. It just ain't the women, because a lot of men out here don't want to play their role as leaders also, complaining about certain things that a man's supposed to do, like providing for his woman. Like, bruh, if you can't do that or you don't want to do it, you don't need a woman. It's just that simple, man. So we all gotta understand our roles out here, man, and play them like we supposed to play them, or else we be by ourselves.
Yeah, man. A lot of gems being dropped, man. I hope the viewers are able to soak it in and actually apply it to their lives. Look like we up against the clock, man. Before we get up out of here, can you let everybody know where they can get your content, where they can purchase your book, etc.?
Yo, absolutely, man. First of all, just thanks for having me. I love the conversation. People can follow me on Instagram at exclusive5. That's XKLUSIVE and the number 5. And I always encourage people, go grab a copy of the book, Teach Me How to Love, What You Don't Know Will Hurt You. It's on Amazon, or you can just go to my Instagram page and click the link in the bio. But I always tell people, don't take my word for it. Go read the reviews on it, right? Go read the reviews on it and let them speak for themselves.
All right, man. That's what's up, man. We really enjoyed the conversation as well. Before we get up out of here, man, I want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. I also want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast by donating through our Cash App and our PayPal. I want to, JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up with me so we get another episode in. And Troy, we really enjoyed it, man. We would love to have you back in the future, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Good luck with your book
Absolutely.
and your future endeavors, bro.
Hey, anytime, man. Have me back.
All right, man. This has been another episode of the Ho the Husband Podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.